I'm not sure. I haven't done this before, so am I
So
supposed to be talking?
we'll start with questions. So your thoughts on how this went? We covered a litmus of things. We covered the stadium. We covered crime in the city, infrastructure. Where are the top areas that you want to focus on if you're elected?
Well, when I'm elected, I'm going to certainly work on a prioritized budget that includes all of those issues because those are the things that are on top of people's minds. Public safety is extremely important. I talked about being able to work with the sheriff, particularly since my background is in criminology and public administration. And also individuals are interested in infrastructure. That is extremely important as well. And so in order to do any of it, though, as mayor, I first have to look at putting together a budget and seeing where we are, what is the financial health of our city based on the most recent comprehensive annual financial report as well.
There are three Republicans in this race that have gone back and forth at each other. You and Ms. Deegan are two very prominent Democrats in this race. What is the distinction on your party between you and Ms. Deegan?
Say that one more time.
Between you and Ms. Deegan, the two prominent Democrats
Yes.
in this race, what would you say is the distinction between the two of you as candidates?
Well, of all the candidates, I have the budget experience and 20 years of governing experience, and I'm ready on day one to run this city and lead us to where we need to go. That's regardless of any candidate. I am that strong candidate.
You mentioned infrastructure. You mentioned working with state and federal government. The state government is you're a Democrat. The state government is a supermajority of Republicans in the House and the Senate, as you know, and of course in the governor's office. How would your administration work with Tallahassee, considering the party differences?
Well, the most interesting news is I started in the minority, in the super minority, when I went to the legislature in 2002. And when I left the legislature, I was still in the minority. And I've been able to work across the aisle. I've been successful in bringing funding to our city. And so I have no problem going in to negotiate and talk about what I need for my city with any legislator, regardless of their party.
The stadium, you were across the board. It was no one wanted a property tax necessarily, and you had said that you would work with them. You would try and get some assurances from the Jaguars.
Yes.
Through at least 2029 or maybe beyond. How do you get those assurances from the team?
Well, the contract, as I understand it, is already through 2029. My discussion was about going well beyond, obviously, 2029 in order to stay, and in order for me to consider, $500,000 on renovations when we've spent a good chunk of change on renovations already. And it would be certainly not very smart if I use taxpayer dollars to create a different place for the Jaguars to stay or do improvements, and then they left. Or the other part I brought up was more and more home games in London, where people who are Jaguar fans, many of them can't travel to London. And so why would we want to spend millions of dollars on a stadium when they're not playing in it?
Would you push for no London games? Would that be a campaign issue?
No. It's not. I'm not saying that they shouldn't play there. What I'm saying is I would look at a schedule unfavorably that had the majority of home games being played in London.
On crime, where do you feel you would work with Sheriff Waters?
I talked about it a little bit, and that is I'm very data driven just because of my background in criminology anyway. And so I believe that a JSO budget just doesn't automatically get increased by a certain percentage. So my idea is to talk to the sheriff about, as I mentioned, where are the hot spots? Where are the trending crime? What is a trending crime? And how do we attack it? Do we need more officers, or do we need prevention programs that I talked about, intervention programs that I talked about? Those are the things that we have to decide on. as we have the discussion about what the budget should look like, and where we're going to put the resources. Technology may be a part of that, but I believe in manpower in the community and officers in the places where they grew up or where they have friends, because there's a whole different outcome when there's a relationship with the community or people that you grew up with or somebody's grandma, auntie. There's a whole different outcome.
How does eradicating poverty, especially in some of the high poverty rates in Jacksonville, reduce crime? And how would your administration work to do that?
Reducing poverty is a part of it. Let me tell you too, in our city, our average age is like 37, 38. Generally, people who, as they age, they commit less crimes. And so I anticipate that there will still be spikes just because of the age before we get to the, get reductions.
That's time next.
I know. Thank you all very much.
Here's your pen.
Oh.